Hello, welcome to the Sensual Redemption Masterclass. This class is going to change your life. This class is going to help you stop being a people pleaser. It's going to help you be in your power. It's going to activate your voice. It's going to help you no longer prioritize everyone else over yourself. It's going to help you really hold those standards in your life to not accept shitty behaviors in dating, not let it hold you back in your job. This class is going to help you get back in the seat of your power, activate your voice, and be the amazing badass woman and role model that you needed in your own life. Whether you needed that growing up or any point in your life, it's going to help you be the force and the power that you needed when you were vulnerable and when things were happening to you. I wish I had someone like this in my life when I was growing up. I wish I had this class years ago. And I'm so excited to share this with you because I feel like everything in this fucking world is created for men, and especially when it comes to the heroic journey and just the process of life, the process of growth and becoming who you really are, sharpening your sword, coming into your own, coming of age stories. I feel like everything is geared towards men and really through the lens of a male perspective, a male voice, a male experience. And the sensual redemption journey is the woman's experience. It's the woman's journey. And it is something that is so common that I see all the time and that I have deeply experienced. So this class is really going to shift you back into your power. It's going to be the loving kick in your pants that you might need. And it's also going to help you identify where you may be during whatever pivotal thing you are experiencing now or you have in the past. So yeah, so I'm going to go over a bunch of different things. This is the welcome section. I'm going to share a bit of my story with you, and then we're going to go into the central reset and how all of this applies to you and how it can help you get different results in your life, how it can help you make more money, attract better relationships, have a better dynamic with your family, set boundaries, feel empowered to not apologize for existing, to take up space and be big and beautiful and go after your dreams, to finally love yourself and stop shrinking, to stop judging your body, to go from survival to sensual, to actually enjoying your life, to taking deep breaths, to tasting your food, to having great sex. This is the key that is often missing. So, welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad that you're here, and I can't wait to get to know you and everything that you are. And I know that I only attract the best people in my space, so I'm really excited that you're here. A lot of you may know me as Sammy B. Love on Instagram or YouTube. I have been sharing on those two spaces for what feels like forever, for like over like 15 years now, over 15 years. But my story starts, I'll start it back when I was 24. I was an alcoholic bartending, and I had a life-threatening experience where I basically realized that I was numbing sexual trauma with alcohol. And with addiction and stuff like that, it's never what the substance is, it's the hole you're trying to fill. So for me, it was sexual trauma. It was childhood sexual trauma and adult sexual trauma and a lot of other things in there, as I'm sure we all have had many experiences that have been hard. And so it was just a smorgasbord of shit that I was numbing. And I basically had 6 months I had to wait 6 months to figure out if I was going to die or live or not. I had a rabies scare and I didn't know if I got the shots too late. So, a very fun thing for a 24-year-old to experience. Also being a hypochondriac growing up. So anyway, I got sober. I got sober in so many different ways, you could say, but I realized that I was using the alcohol to numb my sexual trauma. So it set me off on this journey where I started to heal sexual trauma, but this was 10, 11 years ago. There was not there were not resources like there are now. You weren't allowed to post about this stuff online. I made a video after a couple years of doing work on myself and healing and being there for my inner child and healing my trauma. I posted online some videos because I was like, I just don't want anyone to feel alone. I know how alone I feel, but I also am really good at holding space for myself and to be there for myself. And I didn't have money for therapy. So I was like, there are other people out there who also don't have money for therapy or who just don't trust therapists or don't want to go. And I know that I just don't want anyone to feel alone in this. And maybe this will help them. In the very least, just letting them know that there's someone else out there who understands. So I started sharing on social media. And it got so many views and but YouTube threatened to take down my channel and said it was inappropriate. But I still get comments to this day about how it's changed people's lives and how my process of healing sexual trauma was the first thing that they ever heard that made sense, that helped them after years of therapy. So yes. So I started sharing online on YouTube, and then I was emailing with people for months and months and months, helping them through things. And then I just had this download one day, like I need to learn Reiki. So I got certified in that. I did this like really intensive, super long program, started seeing clients doing energy work and loving it. And then combining the two, and I was emailing back and forth with my people who were subscribed to me, and they were telling me how much I was helping them change their lives and how like they were contemplating suicide when they found me and now they're not, and just all things I wasn't aware of when we were emailing, but I was just offering a lot of support. And then when I found out about coaching, I was like, that's what I've been doing is coaching. And that's what I want to keep doing. I just want to support people. I want to help people go from where I was to where I am now. And, stop numbing, to stop hiding from it, to stop letting it control you subconsciously, to have all these false beliefs that are installed saying that you don't matter and that just to stay small, to be safe, and to prioritize everyone else, and just all of these vicious cycles of beliefs that get put into someone who has had something like that done to them, especially like if you're at a young age. So I started doing YouTube and I started coaching. I got some certifications in EFT, NLP, hypnosis, all the things. I was obsessed. Like I could not stop learning about things and just studying things. And then, yeah, so I was doing energy work clients. And then I started to teach about going from sexual healing to sexual liberation. And that's when I started to teach about shamanic sex and just all of these things that I was learning about, and finally stopping obsessing over healing and moving into this empowered state of being sensual again. And that is a huge transition. And that's something that we're going to dive into deeper later on. But that shift from surviving to being sensual and to being someone who has like this appetite, this lust for life, like the desire to live, the desire to be big, the desire to love yourself and to love life out loud, to yeah, just to the desire to eat, to love things, to create, to believe in yourself, to have your own back, to be sensual, to own your body, to feel turned on, to like explore. Like that is huge. So finally going from shifting to healing, like healing sexual trauma, this never-ending hole of trying to fix things, to moving to sexual liberation, which was all about pleasure and fun and enjoyment and being like, how can I worship these things about me instead of fixing things and like constantly filling a hole? How can I worship myself free rather than relentlessly fixing myself into a deeper state of not feeling free? So that was a really pivotal place that I ended up in. And I loved it. It was amazing. I was teaching shamanic sex. I was teaching all these courses about sexual liberation, and I was so happy. And then another major trauma came in and just knocked my shit all over the place, knocked me on my ass. And many of you may know, but if you're new, then you don't know. It was finding out about my biological father, finding out that my dad wasn't my dad. And I found out that because my biological dad DM'd me on Instagram. And it was this whole thing that we're not going to get into. But yeah, as anyone can imagine, it was a lot. It was a lot. And as someone who has experienced sexual trauma and who has healed it, I did all the things that we do, which is people pleasing, fawning, putting everyone's feelings before my own because I was like, I've healed all of this stuff. I've healed sexual trauma, I've healed emotional trauma, I've healed from abuse, I've healed from narcissistic relationships, I've healed my body, I've healed so many things. Like, I'm good, I got this. I'm so enlightened. I'm not angry. I'm not upset. I'm just worried about everybody else. And that was what I did. And I just shoved any emotions down and I just took care of everybody else. I was totally fawning. I was people pleasing. I was afraid of everyone else not being okay. And I just was centering everyone but me. I wasn't even tapped into my own emotions. And so this big trauma came and I just completely shut down. I was shut down from my emotions. I was shut down from my body and I was shut down from my experience. And you might relate to this where you've done you've done a good amount of healing work, and then all of a sudden something happens and it's like, well, that did that all just go out the window? Like, and it didn't just all go out the window. It's that you're being empowered to heal from a different vantage point. And it is sharpening your sword and it's an opportunity. So if you can see challenges as opportunities and like you are the heroine and you're sharpening your sword and this is just another opportunity to grow and to be connected to yourself, then that is like an empowered, badass, sexy place to be. So that doesn't mean we're not going to numb out and not be there for ourselves. So anyway, um yeah, so that trauma then led to me shutting down, not being in tune with my emotions. Um, and then it led to the cosmic 2x4, which was developing a neurological disorder uh, months after finding out about my dad. I was in the hospital for a week and was diagnosed with POTS and couldn't walk and had to relearn how to be a human again. I had to sell all of my things in 3 days, move in with my family in the mountains, and start over from scratch. I spent all of my money healing, working one-on-one, rewiring my brain, just thinking that, trying to believe that I was safe, that I could be in my body, that my sensations were okay, and that I mattered, and that life was worth living. And so did that and and then I started listening to myself again. After the Cosmic 2x4 and doing the healing work, I had the download like I need to do psychology kinesiology, Psych K, which is what I did to heal and to get my life back. And then I've just continued, it got me like 60%, which is amazing. I mean, I would have done anything. So I was happy to take that. It definitely gave me a huge jump forward into like living life again. And so I started trusting my intuition and knowing like this is what I need to do to heal. But there still was like more things missing and I still had to learn. So after I started to like be able to be a human again, I moved to Richmond and I started my life all over and I started dating again. I got a job after 4 years of working for myself, seeing clients. And that was huge because I had always dealt with shitty bosses. And this is something you've likely experienced if you've had sexual trauma. It's like the fawning, the being way too nice, the letting people walk all over you, being a doormat, not standing up for yourself, having people like working too much, not saying you need something, not asking for time off, not asking for someone to cover for you, feeling so guilty if you do anything. Whereas other people do stuff and they get away with it and it's no big deal. But like if you do anything, it's like, uh-oh, like God forbid. So that was my situation. So then the next thing that happened was, um, yeah, I took that leap into starting my life over again. I started dating, I started working again and getting a job because it just felt like too much to kind of launch my coaching business. I just needed like a guaranteed steady paycheck. Um, so I got these jobs and I started to show up as this new empowered version of me. I started to show up in dating with standards. I started to have my own back when I was like, I actually can't work 9 days in a row. Like that'll trigger symptoms for me. I need structure. I need to rest. And here's what I can do. And that got me fired. That got me fired. That got people like I was talked to like I was doing something wrong. It caused a lot of issues. I had a bullying incident with like this person at one job, and I responded to their bullying by just smiling at them, and I got in trouble for that. So it just was like I like to call this section of it burned at the stake. Like I was burned at the stake for having my own back and not just being this people pleaser doormat that everyone else was used to me being and wanted me to be, this like super nice version of them who always did what other people wanted to make them comfortable and to make their life easier. And when, as a woman, when you center yourself and you no longer do that, people you get backlash. And that's the sad thing about it. This is where a lot of people give up on their journey. And this is where it's like women and men, like our journeys are so different, and why it's important to have our own dialogues and our own discussion. Because when you choose yourself and you start to have your own back and you start to show up as this healed version of you who prioritizes your health, who prioritizes your self-respect and standards, who asks for raise, who raises, who tells people like, actually, no, you can't treat me that way. I'm sorry. That doesn't work for me. And then you move on. You break up and you move on. Someone who just loves themselves and respects themselves. But when you've experienced sexual trauma, you often feel like you're being a bitch because your biggest fear is creating suffering for another person because you know what that feels like and you don't want to do that to anyone. And so it's like even just doing something that is just having self-respect can feel like you're causing another person suffering because you can't cover their shift. You can't stay late at work. You can't host whatever the thing is that night because you have something you want to do. You're Someone disrespects you in dating and you leave the first time. You don't wait to see how bad it gets. You hold your own and you have your own back and you're like, no, I don't care how good you look on paper. Like you don't get to disrespect me. And that's like, I wish you the best. And jobs, walking away from jobs. I walked out of a job where someone was bullying me and disrespecting me, and no one was having my back. And it felt like it was just a very toxic environment. And I was like, this is affecting my health negatively. I'm not being treated with kindness and respect. And I walked out and I got a mani-pedi and I quit. But like past me would have been like, I'm doing something wrong. I would have been filled with so much shame and guilt, and I would have hid, and I would have just been like, what do I need to become in order for them to like me, or in order to get rid of this friction? Who do I need to be in order for things to smooth over? Because I used to blame myself when a boyfriend would lie to me, or when a boyfriend would gaslight me, or just be narcissistic and do bullshit things that they do. I used to blame myself when I wouldn't get along with a coworker. I'd be like, is it me? What did I do wrong? How did they misinterpret something I said or I did? How can I remedy this? Which it's good to have a perspective of collaboration and trying to create resolution. I think you should always try to create resolutions and try to find solutions and being solution minded. I think that's a really empowered state to live in. But I don't think if you are dealing with someone or people who are not focused on creating a resolution or a solution or coming to some sort of agreement or understanding. If you're someone who is just being unreasonable and they're not open to that, then that's disrespecting yourself and wasting your time and energy. So like don't bother. Bye. Have a great life. That's it. It's that easy. And when you get to this place of freedom and self-liberation, the old me would have fallen over. She would have fallen over and like not fucking believed some of the things that I have said, done, walked away from, the perfect people, the perfect job setups, the perfect situations, the great apartments, whatever. Like I just I just leave. I know that there is no cap to the abundance I can experience. I know if something feels like it's insulting my soul, if it's making me feel small, I know there is something out there that is way better for me, way bigger for me. And this is actually an opportunity. I used to see all of these things that would happen to me as if like I was being punished because I wasn't good enough, that I was being punished because there is something inherently wrong with me and that it's my fault that someone mistreated me. It's my fault that someone misunderstood or someone yelled at me or someone is saying mean things to me or that a situation is hard. It's my fault. It's not my fault. And I know that every challenge is an opportunity for me to claim more for myself, for me to want more for myself, and for me to just lovingly and unbotheredly just be like, that's fine. Okay. I wish you the best. Goodbye. Not fucking worried about it. Cutting people out, one-sided friendships, relationships that aren't aligned. Like, when you are someone who is full of power and love, and you're not afraid to smile and you're not afraid to offer that love to people, you will attract narcissists, you will attract psychopaths, you will attract everyone because people love that light and people love that energy. And when you're someone who has experienced sexual trauma or trauma and you've healed it and you've been to the depths of despair and pain and suffering, and you have found an inkling of love and healing and forgiveness, people are magnetized to that. It is a magnetic way to be. And it's just like you just draw people in. You draw, it's like a lamp, like a lamp outside. It draws in mosquitoes and bugs and like you're just shining and it's pulling everything in. So it's not a personal thing about you. The only thing that is a reflection on you are the things that you accept and the things that you keep in your life. So this is why it's like it impacts your health. The more that I people please, the more symptoms I experience. The more that I'm in fear and I'm playing small, I'm not speaking up, I'm not sharing my truth, I'm not speaking with love to myself by having boundaries and standards, and I'm not saying what I want and I'm not asking for what I want. Um, and when I'm letting people walk all over me or I'm letting things happen that I don't want or I don't like, I experience symptoms and my body lets me know. And then, of course, it affects your money. You stay in jobs where you're not being valued, you're not being paid, it's not making you happy. You're dealing with bosses that are crappy, you're dealing with people who don't respect you. You stay in relationships because you don't think that because you feel like there might be a lack of love out there for you. Like maybe you are the problem. Maybe there's something wrong with you. For me, it was like everything would come back to me being so afraid that whatever conflict I was experiencing was going to validate my fear of that I deep down I wasn't good enough and that there was something wrong with me and that I deserved the negative things that were happening to me. And that is so not true. And I just wish I could shake you because if you've experienced anything similar to what I have, I know that that has been programmed inside of you. Likely. Maybe not. Maybe you're lucky and or maybe you've already worked through that. But it is such a common false belief that like you deserve negative things that happened to you, that it was somehow your fault, that something did to you that you deserved. And that is such fucking bullshit. It is such bullshit. And yeah. So, anyway, that's my story. Now I'm here helping women connect to their sensuality, to reprogram your brain, to get rid of these false beliefs so you can step into your power, so you can embody and take up the space that you're in, so you can connect to yourself sensually and love yourself. So you can feel so much joy. You can be turned on. You can be healthy in good relationships and in good dynamics when it comes to workplaces and have your own back and genuinely adore yourself because it's all about that sensual empowerment of like loving every inch you're in, allowing yourself to actually taste your food, allowing yourself to think that you're beautiful, even if you don't have makeup or if your hair looks like shit, if you barely slept and you were crying, your eyes are puffy and you've gained weight and all the nonsense that women are pressured to feel and be while doing a million things. You just get to let all of that go. And it doesn't mean that those voices like are forever gone because the voices are like they come in from external sources all the time, especially on social media with like all the plastic surgery and the filters and all the things. Like we're just bombarded with it. But you learn to love yourself and to just allow yourself to receive pleasure, allow yourself to enjoy life, to drink in the magic of you in your one precious life, exactly who you are, how you are, everything you've been through, everything you've learned, and everything just expands in such a positive way. My main things that I love to focus on are helping entrepreneurs, helping women make more money because when women make more money, the world changes. We need to have more power. We need to have more say. We need to have women who are in positions of control, who are influencing like campaigns, who are influencing research, science, everything. We need women doing everything. So that's what I believe. Okay, so I'm gonna teach you the sensual redemption journey, and it'll sound familiar because it's mapped out in my journey, and I know it is similar to your journey as well. And that's why it's so important to understand. This is my like kind of remix on the hero's journey, and the hero's journey created by Joseph Campbell. If you're not familiar with it, it is really helpful. And I do believe women go on the hero's journey. Of course, we fucking do. We are amazing heroes. And I've been on so many different hero's journeys, but there are so many things about the hero's journey that don't apply to this specific journey that is, I feel, so universal with women. And it's often like a big illness or a divorce or just a major thing that we go through. And it's just this unspoken, valiant journey that yeah, that I'm just excited to highlight. And I really hope this isn't backwards because I have no idea how this is going to look watching it rather than recording it. We're just rolling with it. The sensual redemption journey. So, number one is trauma. There is a trauma. There is a major pain or soul loss. So this is when, for example, me, I thought I was healed. I thought I had all the things figured out. I knew it all. And I had this major trauma of finding out the truth about my dad that I grew up with not being my biological dad and finding out about my biological dad and this whole dramatic story. It's very Maury meets Nicholas Sparks, like Jerry Springer and Nicholas Sparks. It's like, yeah, love and war and lies and all this stuff. So, anyway, there's a trauma that you've experienced, whether it be maybe the sexual trauma or their original trauma, or just it starts off with a trauma. That's what begins the sensual redemption journey for women. Number two is severance, and I really think this might be backwards. So we're just rolling with it. I am not a perfectionist. If you are, I apologize, but we're just gonna go with it. Severance, disconnected from your power. This is when you get into the people pleaser mode, when you get really shriveled and small, when you allow yourself to be small. You're not using your voice, you're not taking up space, you're not asking for what you want. You're trying to just be safe. You're fawning and you're afraid. You're disconnected from your power. You're disconnected from your joy, authenticity, intuition, creativity, abundance, self-love. You accept bullshit you shouldn't, and you're people pleasing. You're disconnected from all those things because when you're disconnected from your authenticity, you're not going to shine. You're not going to attract things that are so perfect for you because you're not being authentic. So it's like we attract what we are. So if you're being fake, if you're playing small, if you're hiding, the world is going to give you that in return. You're going to be met with people who match that, and fuck that shit. Life is too short for that. You are here to live a big, beautiful life, and it's way like we don't have time for that. We've been through too much. We love ourselves too much, and we're here to create change, and we're here to have beautiful relationships and to live healthy, radiant, amazing lives that we're turned on and feeling so great. So, number three is the cosmic 2x4. This is when a rude awakening because you're not following your path. So the universe is going to try to correct you. The universe is going to try to put you right back on your path in a very loving way. And it's gonna come and it's just gonna smack you the fuck off of whatever path you're on. So for me, that was getting sick with POTS, being in the hospital and having to relearn how to be a human again. For you, maybe it's you have a trauma and then you're small and then you marry someone who's not aligned and then they cheat on you and then yeah, and it's just this cosmic two by four of like you're not on the right path. But this is an opportunity. It's not that you are bad or wrong or that you deserve bad things to happen to you. It's not that at all. It's that you actually deserve so much more. And so life is going to, because you're cut off from your intuition, life has been telling you something's off and that you're on the wrong path, but you haven't been able to hear it and you haven't been able to listen. And we're intuitive and powerful as fuck. So if you're here, you're intuitive and you're powerful as fuck. And so you're meant to be on your correct path. You're meant to make a big impact. You're meant to have a beautiful, powerful relationship. You're meant to be seen for who you truly are. You're meant to shine. And yeah, so the cosmic two by four is your friend that is bitch slapping you. Number four, the voice within. The voice within. This is where you are no longer numb to your magic and you begin to listen to your intuition and trust yourself. This is when I was healing, everyone was telling me what to do. The doctors, my parents, my stepmom was like, maybe you just need to be institutionalized because she didn't understand what the neurological issue I was. She thought I was just anxiety, which like, thank God I listened to myself and I was tapping into my intuition again and I was beginning to listen to myself again and trust my inner knowing. And I was like, no, I feel like what's going to heal me is this thing that I heard about Dr. Bruce Lipton. I heard him talk about it in a podcast. It's called Psych K. It's about rewiring your brain and how your brain is the chemist of your body and your brain controls your body. And this feels right for me. And I chose doing that over what other people were telling me to do, my doctors and my family. And so that's huge. When you start to listen to your own internal voice, when you start to become the authority in your own life, that's a beautiful place to start. So number five, the grand leap. The grand leap. This is my first time using my whiteboard for this too. It's kind of fun, but it's also a little challenging. So the grand leap is a drastic life change. It's a breakup, it's a move, it's deciding to go back to school, it's quitting your job, it's changing careers, it's a drastic life change, and it's a grand leap. You are trusting, you are leaping. It's amazing. The grand leap. Self-explanatory. You know if you're there, you know if you've been there, you know if you're about to be there, you know. Number six, burned at the stake. Burned at the stake. Again, maybe you've experienced this. Maybe you're afraid of this day. Maybe you're afraid to experience this. But it's backlash for when you're not being who others want you to be and for not self-sacrificing. So other people, we're so used to like putting other people first, their emotions, their fears, being a support, putting everyone else first, being the person everyone comes to, and putting ourselves last to, yeah, to just being the best friend anyone could ever have. Meanwhile, who is our friend? So that was the case for me, and it might be the case for you. I had a lot of one-sided relationships. I had a lot of one-sided friendships, but that was my fault. That was my fault. Again, it's an opportunity to be in your power and to take responsibility and to, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to grow, to choose what you want, and to make your life amazing. So we love it. Burned at the stake, the backlash you receive. So all the bosses who were like, how dare you tell me that you can't just work whenever I want to schedule you? How dare you prioritize your health? How dare you stand up for yourself when you're being bullied in our place of work? How dare you not just lay down and roll over? And that is what this world teaches women to do. That's what they want of us, to lay down and roll over. But we're here for bigger things than that. We are filled with so much magic. We're here to create massive change. Yeah, we're too magical for that. We don't do that shit anymore. So burned at the stake it's like a rebirth. Think of it like a phoenix. Like let them burn the old version of you that you are sick of being. Burn her. Let her burn. Let the vision, let the version that they had of you as this doormat person who will do anything they ask at any time, who doesn't ever put herself first, who doesn't have anything to say in return, who doesn't say, actually, no, that doesn't work for me, who doesn't ask for things, who doesn't demand respect, who doesn't have standards, who doesn't um, speak up and say no, who doesn't say no. Let them burn her. She gone. Bye bye. That's great. We love that. It's a barbecue of your old self. Goodbye. So, like, have fun with it. Let your old friends be so upset that you're not just gonna like roll over and let them treat you however they want to treat you. I literally had one of my best friends tell me, word for word, she wants to treat me however she treats me, and me take it and ask for more. She said that. I want to treat you however I want to treat you, and you take it and ask for more. And I was like, that's the definition of abuse. Like, are you kidding me? And so I was like, I cannot have this conversation anymore. I can't converse from a space of love. I'm done. I've reached my limit. I went upstairs, went to bed, never talked to that person again. You don't owe anyone anything. I never fucking talked to her again. You don't owe anyone anything. You get to just leave if it doesn't align with you. If you want closure, if you want to talk, you can, but you don't need to. And that's something that's like huge for people like us because it's not your job to put everyone else's emotions first. It's your job to take care of you first, to protect you. That's your job. That's on you. And that's great. Who better to protect me than me? So they can burn that version of me that they have in their head. That's okay. That's who I was. I don't have to be that version anymore. And I still get to be an amazing, loving, kind person that I am. That doesn't change. Just because I say no, just because I'm not afraid of conflict. I'm not afraid of someone perceiving me in a way that makes someone happy. I'm not afraid of someone judging me in a way that I feel like isn't true to who I am. That was always my biggest fear. Is like I don't want someone to have the wrong idea of who I am. And I'm so fine with that now. That is okay. If we can't reach an agreement lovingly and we can't respectfully communicate, that's all right. I'll give it my best and like I'm just gonna let it go because that's okay. It's really okay. And I used to never fucking be able to do that. So, burned at the stake, let them burn her. Let them burn the old version of you. It is okay. You're like the phoenix. You will rise, you will grow, you will change, and they will be basking in the glow and impressed by who you will become. They will be like, fuck yeah, that's amazing. I actually need some of that in my life. It'll be a permission slip to people in the best ways. So it's okay. It's all right. The last one is freedom and self-actualization. After they burn you to the stake, the version of you that is no longer here, you finally have found yourself fully embodying your truth, your power, your magic. Your world is your own, and you become an example for other women's freedom. You become an example and a permission slip for other women to be bold, to be powerful, to be strong, to prioritize themselves, and to love themselves enough to be like, yeah, you can think whatever you want about me, and that's okay. Like to be kind and powerful and to seek like to resolve conflicts, but to not get bent out of shape over it. To end relationships and walk away knowing that there is no shortage of love in this world for you. To take risks, knowing that people might judge you for starting that business, people might judge you for launching that new offer or like making this beautiful thing that you've been pouring your heart and soul into and offering. They might judge you, they might make fun of you, and that's totally okay. That's all right. You're not here for them. You're not here for the people who are judging you. You're here to be your best self because you didn't go through everything you went through just to live a small life where you're not living out your dreams. You're not swinging big. You're not swinging your sword with all the lessons you've learned and all the power that's behind it and all the magic that you are. You are here for big things. That's why the universe has like been teaching you through a crash course of how to be in your power. And so the sensual redemption journey is the journey that women go on. When you become the free, self-actualized version of yourself, that's when you're like, I love my body no matter what weight I am, no matter what any man might think of it. Who gives a fuck? I love it because it's my home, because I take up space here, because I love every inch that I exist in, and the world loves me back for it. This universe loves me. These flowers love me. My candles love me. God, angels, everything loves me because I exist and I'm here. You don't have to be perfect. You can have a messy couch. You can have donation piles in your doorway. You can have a teddy bear on your bed. You can be a human and people can judge you for it, and that's totally okay because you have this unshakable, unfuckwithable center of like reclaiming your space in your life and your voice and your desires and your needs and your dreams and your trajectory of your life. You know you deserve beautiful things to happen for you. You know that if you think it, you can create it. You are so powerful. You have been through everything you've been through, and you're on the other side looking for things that can help you be even more in your power. Like that says a lot. That is huge. That is a beautiful gift to offer to this world. And that is like you are already an inspiration to people. So, what I am offering and inviting you, beautiful humans, into is the Sensual Reset course. The Sensual Reset is fucking badass. It is so fun. It's really amazing. And it helps you. So, it's a 6-week course. It's very trauma informed. So, I don't deal with the whole like, I'm very conscious around language. I'm very conscious around guiding people, connecting to your body, because there are some pleasure practices and exploring your body, but it's a 6-week roadmap to becoming the version of your self-actualized free self. So it's basically the travel companion guide to you while you're going through the sensual redemption journey. It helps you along the way become the version of you who is embodying your boundaries and standards and self-love, and who is reaching out and going after her dreams, not taking no for an answer, believing in herself, having her own back, and who is letting go of all the false beliefs that tack on, that create illness, that create suffering, that create vulnerability to narcissists and toxic relationships, that keep you from speaking your needs to your family or to your loved ones, and just always being like, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, I'm fine, until you shrivel up and die because you find yourself into an early grave. You get to shine. You get to be that bitch. You get to be that old bog witch, beautiful mom, grandma, auntie, whatever it is you are. You get to shine and you get to take up space and achieve your dreams. And the sensual reset is 6 weeks to getting you to like loving your body, loving your dreams, believing that they're possible. And it's all about using sensuality to worship yourself free, because this is a huge jump to go from someone who is a people pleaser, who puts everyone else first, to the point to where it affects your health and it keeps you broke and in shitty relationships, to go from that to a bad bitch who isn't afraid of being perceived in whatever crazy ass ways people want to perceive you just for being in your power. That is a huge jump. And this helps you do that because it's not just about like thinking it's possible and just being like, okay, yeah, I gotta be that way. I'm gonna be that way from now on. It's like, how? How the fuck? Like, there has to be something in between. And this is how you get there. This is how you get rooted in your body, how you become really in tune with your sensations. And you use all the sensations that you experience as proof and evidence that you are safe and loved and that anything is possible for you in this world. So it is sensuality and worshiping yourself free, worshiping yourself with pleasure, with love, with beauty, with being present, worshiping yourself into being the bad bitch I know you are, that you know you are, is the key. It's not about circling this drain of like fixing, because that's what keeps you in your survival self. That's what keeps you in number 2, which is severance, disconnected from your intuition, because you have the answers. This isn't about me telling you the answers. This is about you finding your own answers, but also having the roadmap to building yourself up to listen, to have the strength to listen, to have the strength to say no, to have the strength to say yes, to have the strength to look yourself in the mirror and fucking love yourself like you have never loved yourself before in your life, to believe that inherently you are good and you deserve good things to happen in your life because you're beautiful and you're here for so much more. So, as you can see, I'm super passionate about this because this is something that has affected me so much. The last 14 years of my life, I feel like I was in survival. I feel like I was just hoping people would love me. I was just hoping people would be nice to me. And I couldn't comprehend people not being kind and people not being understanding or collaborative or trying to reach a solution because that's how I was. I couldn't comprehend other people behaving that way. And I thought, well, they must be the same way I am. So something must be wrong with me if they're behaving that way. And that is not fucking true. So there are so many false ways and like these like negative self-beliefs that develop from experiencing things like you and I have experienced. And this is to help you get embodied in your power, in your sensuality, in your body as a woman, feeling free, feeling sexy. It's not like about sexiness in terms of external sexiness. It's about life force, like that life force. So I like to call it my hot girl pimp juice. Like yeah, that vitality that's like rushing through you. That is sexy and magnetic and confident and feeling safe no matter what happens because you know you will put the energy into making your dreams come true. So I like to call that my hot girl pimp juice. I'm like, yeah, hot, because it started out as a joke with me and my sister. We'd always be like, what's up, pimp juice? Or like, pimp juice. And so and then I made a playlist, Hot Girl Pimp Juice, and I realized that is the energy. That's the energy. It's Hot Girl Pimp Juice. It's like, you ain't gonna fuck with me. And if you try, like, I wish you the best. Nothing but love. Like, there is no revenge. There's just loving yourself, taking care of yourself, and going after the things you want. Signing up for that new job, even though you don't technically qualify for all the things, like applying for the things you want, dreaming big, swinging big, and not being afraid of rejection, being afraid of staying small over being afraid of rejection. So I want this for you. I want this for all women. I think that it is time for women to have more power and control, for it to balance out this world. I think we need women. We need women to have money, control, influence, power. We need women loving themselves, creating art, being in their body. If I saw an embodied, safe, loving, relaxed, empowered woman when I was young, it would have changed my life. I wish so deeply that I had seen that, but I didn't. I didn't have an example of that. And I love my mom so much, but like I did not have an example of that. And so this is for you to become that for yourself and for everyone around you because we deserve it. It's time. This is just time. And it's so crazy too, because like years ago when I was seeing clients for energy work and Reiki, like I would have never, if you had told me I would have been anything other than an Instagram coach, like coaching on Instagram, having clients, I would have been like, what? But I have started a startup. I have a sex tech startup. We are creating pleasure products that help women heal their bodies and connect rather than dissociating. And like, it is insane. Like, I have prototypes, I have a patent, like, I'm an inventor. And like, it is just wild, like this jump. And I never would have been able to do it if it weren't for these tools from the sensual reset of being in my power and being this version of me that I so badly wanted to be my whole life. So I'm inviting you into the sensual reset. We have lots of different options. It is very accessible and awesome, and it'll transform your life. I think it's exactly, if you're here, I think you know if it's right for you. I don't believe in navigating objections. I think you know if it's a fuck yes or a fuck no, and trust yourself. You know what's right for you. So love you so much. I'm so glad that you were here and that you took this time for yourself. I'm excited to hear where you are in your sensual redemption journey. Please reach out to me and let me know. I would love to hear all about it. And if you have any questions about the sensual reset, let me know. And other than that, just, yeah, I'd be happy to talk to you on Instagram and all the places. And love you so much. You deserve the world. You deserve so much more than you've ever experienced. And it's all more than possible. So, bye.